Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Touchy Subject. I'm your host, Lena the Plug, and today I'm joined by my co-host,
Hello,
Monica.
I'm back.
Monica, how are you?
I'm good.
How is your love life?
Non-existent.
What? You went out all weekend. Are you telling me you didn't meet any boys?
No, honestly, I usually don't go out in LA a lot, like to LA parties. And this weekend, I went out with Becca. Oh my god, we didn't like. There's a video of us getting in our Uber at like 7:45 a.m.
What?
I was just like, I don't even know. That's the thing is like, and everybody's like, I'm not going out with you and Becca because that means we're not coming home. And
Where did you guys end up that you were able to be up until 7:45 in the morning?
So Friday night, she called me. I like went into this cheer thing. That is why I have this bruise. And she was like, hey, like, I want to get drunk. And I was like, okay, then fine.
You were like, I support you. Let's do it.
I was like, okay, fine. And when she's living at her parents' house now and it's in Burbank. So she's like right by me. Because before she was all the way in Century City. And so I was like, okay, fine. What are we going to do? She's like, I don't want to go out in like Hollywood or anything. Like, I don't want to be around the same people I'm around all the time. Like, let's go to Santa Monica. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Santa Monica's fun. It's a nice little change.
It's very different.
Yeah.
I feel like because we like ratchet music and then they're playing like Party in the USA and stuff. And so we went to the Victorian. Have you ever been there?
I feel like I have. That sounds really familiar.
So it's like a big white house.
Yes, I've been there.
Okay. And
It's
so
been a long time since I've been there, but I've been there.
Yeah. So we just got like super drunk in the Uber on our way there. And then we show up. There's like lines. Like, so there's a back entrance and a front entrance. There's like, they have put out like ropes of lines.
You're reminding me why I don't like going out.
But me and Becca, we have this like role that we play every single time. So like she has her new boobs. So she's like, I'm like, take out your boobs. And she always does this. She goes right in front of me and she goes, hey, oh my God, like Matt is texting me and he's telling me to like meet him here. And then I always go, yeah, he said to, because we're very familiar with the inside of like the club or the bar. And I'm like, yeah, he said to go up the stairs and they're in the first section right next to the DJ. And then like the people, they just are just like, oh, okay, everyone knows a Matt.
Wow. What is this plan you guys have come
And it works every time.
I was going to say, it's foolproof. It works every single time.
Yes. We did it in every club in Miami. Like every single club we did it in Miami. And then I was like, this is not going to work today.
Ladies, if you come to LA and you have a hard time getting into the club, try this method. Let us know if it works, because I have been standing outside of a club many times in my life not getting in. And I would have liked to know this plan.
It's foolproof. We use it every time. And literally people were dogging us, like pissed. Because then he was like, oh, they're in Matt's section. We get like escorted up.
Did you end up meeting Matt?
No, we like went and ended up getting escorted into like a section, and then we just like left the section right away.
There was no cute guys there or what?
No,
not your vibe.
No, it wasn't my vibe. Yeah. And so then
can we go to a club? I'm like, for some reason I'm low-key like, God, I wish I was there. This sounds exciting, even though I know when I'm at the club I'm like, this place sucks, I want to leave.
Oh my God, I feel like we just like,
what did you guys do? Did you guys waste it and go to another club or stay there?
So then we went upstairs and then there it's 3 floors. So the top floor, it's like kind of EDM, like Party in the USA, like fist bumping and like stuff like that. And so like we tried to go, we're like, let's just follow the music. Like we're drunk. So like, let's just follow the music. We follow the music and then we're looking around and we're just like, this is not our vibe. Like we can't, like, I don't want to jump up and down. Like I just can't.
But also, isn't it like super crowded? Like how could you even really dance?
I feel like when you're drunk, you don't realize like how crowded things are. Like I just like this, if I'm dancing, I just put my elbows up and now I have space.
Oh, I don't know. I think especially after COVID, like crowds really, I haven't been around a lot of crowds. So now when I'm in a crowd, I'm like, oh my God, I have anxiety. I don't know.
Oh yeah. That's kind of how I am with festivals.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like the club's like different because it's like, if I'm not familiar with the club, then maybe. Mm-hmm. But right away, we're like, let's go downstairs. And then we go to the second level where it's like general admission or whatever. Yeah. They're playing hip hop. So we're like, all right, cool. Let's stay down here. But it's like crazy. Like a lot of people recognize her because she like is always out in LA and she's always been like in the LA scene. And someone's like, Becca. And she was like, who the fuck is that? And then he was like, Monica? And I was like, wait, who is this? And he's like, remember like in Miami? And so we had this big incident. His name is Matt.
No.
Yes, I swear to God, it was full circle. So what we ended up, he was like, it's Matt from Miami. And so we just look at each other and just start dying laughing.
So did you meet this Matt in Miami by doing the same shtick you guys were doing?
Yes, they walked us to his section. And he was really cool that night. He was like kind of weird. Like we ended up leaving. But it was insane. So we're like full circle.
Proof that this works, and you might meet the same Matt again in another state. This is so crazy.
Yeah, it was
I had
so
the
crazy.
complete opposite weekend of you because I was not at a bar in Santa Monica. I did like a family trip to Santa Barbara, and I didn't remember that the camera's here. I keep looking at you over there. Yeah, family trip to Santa Barbara, go to the beach, walk around, like the most calm, family-oriented town, just like very opposite lives from you.
Yeah, I was not feeling well.
You weren't. You were over the drinking. Were you hungover?
Oh my! So then we ended up leaving the club. The lights turned on. We got escorted to the basement. Yes, okay. Because like they shut the first level down and then the second level. So then they moved us down to the underground level, and then we ended up just leaving and then meeting up with her friend, and then like up in Mount Olympus, like he has a house. So we went there, and then they're like, oh, there's a party down the street, like let's go there.
Just chasing the party. I would be like, exactly. I'm going to bed.
And so yeah, and then by the time we ordered an Uber, it was like 7:30. There's like a funny video of us, and like we're literally, she's like in leather pants. It's like 90 degrees at this time hot. And so we go home, and then we did it all over again. I went
the next day?
Yeah, I slept all day, and then I went to the Dodger game on Sunday. So we were day drinking, went to the Dodger game, and then I wasn't with her at all, though. And then we went to, like, a bar, and then after the bar, I was like, it's 10 p.m. Why are we all going home?
You're living your best single life right now.
And then I was like, and then I called Becca. I'm like, where are you? She's like, oh, I'm in Burbank. I'm like, perfect. Like, I'm in North Hollywood. Like, come get me. Like, I had no business at that point, like, starting a whole nother night.
Yeah. After being out in like 100-degree weather, day drinking at the Dodger game, I would be passed out.
Yeah, I was passed out in the back of her car, and then same thing. We just like went to it was Labor Day. I woke up and I was just looking at my toilet like never again. And I don't throw up. I don't. No, I didn't. Okay. But I felt like it, and I never get to that point.
That's worse.
Ever.
Then you just like you're nauseous and you can't.
And I just remember looking, and I'm like, no more, like no more. And so she texts me like, let's hang out this weekend. I'm like, we're staying in. Like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want to, like, I can only do that once in a while. Like, I cannot.
It's definitely a lot on your body. I feel like my ideal evening would be like, maybe we go to the club for an hour so that I could maybe dance for an hour. But I'm trying to like end up at like a diner eating all kinds of garbage and then go to bed. That's like my ideal night.
Well, she was like, let's go here. Like, oh, let's go to Crave. Let's get crepes. And I'm like, I'm not eating sugar.
And then you can get it.
I'm like, no. Like,
what did you order for alcohol then?
Tequila.
With what?
I was just drinking tequila.
Oh, shots.
Yeah, right. Went to the Dodger game. We were taking shots. And then went to the bar. We were taking shots. And then, I got a sugar-free Red Bull. Actually, I was getting tequila with sugar-free Red Bull.
I went out on Tuesday night for like 2 hours, and I had a tequila soda with lime.
Ooh.
I felt like I was just drinking bubbly water with like a little tequila in it. But it was so dark. It was this place called Madame Siam, and it was like a really dark basement. And I was like, girl, you cannot drink this too fast, and you cannot have another one because you will fucking fall asleep in here. It was so dim.
Did you feel it?
I mean, like a little.
You're getting a little sweaty?
No, not even. I was just kind of like, ooh, I like the vibes in here. And that was it. And then it passed after like 15 minutes.
And you're like, okay, it's time to go home.
So Monica and I are going to Europe for, I think, 2 weeks in October. I'm really excited.
We're not coming back.
No, we have to come back. We don't have visas and stuff. We're trying to get ahead on the podcast so that we don't miss any days while we're gone. But if we do, big apologies. I promise we'll be making content for you on other platforms or put out a vlog here on YouTube. Monica, you've never been out of the country?
I've been to Mexico.
Puerto Rico, but
yeah, Canada. Oh yeah. Wait, no, yeah,
that's another country. It's not the same continent.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I am so excited.
We're flying into Paris. We don't have a full itinerary yet. We don't know what we're doing after Paris. We're taking Parker with us, so I feel like I need to warn you about traveling with a toddler.
What I sent you, the reel. Did you hear the sound in the background?
I didn't hear the sound, but I saw the imagery, and I was like, yeah, it was like what you think traveling with a toddler is going to be like, and then what it's actually like, and it's just like pure chaos and screaming. the time change is going to be the biggest factor, because when you have a kid and they don't sleep, that is when you see like a full like split personality disorder going on, where they're just like, they don't know how to act.
I'll have the Benadryl.
You'll have the Benadryl. I actually want to talk to her doctor about melatonin, like if it's appropriate or not, because basically when we land in Paris, it's going to be like 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning for her, which is the time she wakes up. And then for Paris, like the city's going to be shutting down and it's supposed to be nighttime. So it's going to be hard. I think that if we were only staying a week, I think it would take her like that whole week to acclimate. And by the time we were leaving, she would be on Paris time. But I think we have to stay 2 weeks for that reason. But anyways, it's going to be like, we'll have fun, but there's going to be like a cap to how much fun we can have.
Oh yeah, of course.
Parker is going to put us into like this reality check of like, hey guys, I want to do my own thing, even though you guys want to do this thing.
Or maybe she'll just be an angel.
Maybe magically.
Maybe she'll just like realize she's in fucking Paris.
You think?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
We just have to give her like ample space to where she can run freely, which might be hard in like a very
You need to get a leash.
Congested. Oh, I have one in my Amazon cart. So that she can kind of like run off. But you know what I'm thinking? Like it's not really a leash. It's like a harness that's attached almost like a backpack, and you hold it on your wrist. Which
that is a leash. You're just totally trying to make it seem, because I see the people walking in the mall.
Is it
and
the
it's
same
like
way?
It's like an animal backpack.
Yeah.
Then it's like technically you're not leashing the baby, you're leashing the animal on the backpack. It doesn't
look exactly like a dog leash is what I'm trying to say. But like I'm like, is she gonna like the butterfly or is she gonna like the monkey? I don't know. But the thing that she does when I try to hold her hand is that she totally resists and sits on the floor. So I'm like, she can basically do that same move if I have the harness on her. So I don't know how much it's gonna work, but maybe she'll like that she'll have like a long leash and she can go
maybe
a little.
Yeah, because even when we were looking at wedding venues and stuff, I was like trying to grab her hand, and she like right away was like getting her other hand, trying to take my hand off.
And she's strong.
She's
now.
like, yeah, she's like gripping me like no. Like
when she doesn't want to do something, she does not want to do it. So it's gonna be a thing.
It'll be fun. It's gonna be so much fun.
We'll be in Paris, so I don't know how much we'll care, but like the jet lag, all of that is.
Would you rather cry at home or cry in front of the Eiffel Tower?
I'd rather cry in front of the Eiffel Tower with a crepe in my hand.
We'll all be crying. We'll be like, we're just gonna cry with you at this point, Parker, because
I just can't wait to eat all the good food. You have to try escargot with me. I bet it's delicious. I don't bet it's delicious because it seems slimy. But I want to try it just because, you know, when in Rome, when in Paris, whatever.
Yeah, I went to Boston with my mom, and she was like, she ordered it, and I was like, oh, what are we eating? We don't eat fancy. And then they brought it, and I was like, what the
Do they bring it with the shell?
Mm-hmm. The shells are upside down. And then, like, depending how you order them, when they brought it to us, like, you know when you order something in a skillet and it's still, like, sizzling when they bring it to your table? It was literally, like, the shell. And then I was like, it's like green, and it was like sizzling still on the top. And I was like,
can you see the eyeballs and stuff?
No. It's literally just the shell. Like I don't remember seeing the head.
Okay.
Like it was like as if they got the snail and then just threw it all in the shell, and then like presenting you with the shell. And then like you kind of just like,
I'm really grossed out, but we also need to find the best place where you could eat escargot to give us the best chance of maybe possibly liking it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I've already been looking at restaurants in Paris, but a lot of them don't open reservations until like 30 days before. So
we're getting there.
Like in a few days, we'll have to start making some reservations. I know there's a restaurant that has like a perfect view of the Louvre, which I'm probably saying totally wrong, and the Eiffel Tower. So that would be cool. But you know what? I feel like all these fancy places that they have in Paris, I'm like, can you bring kids? Like, I feel self-conscious about having a kid in certain environments.
I think so, because I feel like kids, like in Europe, kids are like very much involved in like adult activities.
Well, I mean, when you're in like city life, I feel like you see all kinds of different people, like because everyone's just so close together. But you know, I feel like most people who are going to a 5-star restaurant, they usually just like leave their kid at home.
I saw a funny ass TikTok, and it was like some guy was like, they're in Paris, and then they wrote, "Oh my God, Kanye's sitting next to me." And so they have like the phone and they're zooming in, and it's Steve Harvey, and he's just like eating in like a metallic suit. And then someone's like, "That's not Kanye West. That's Steve Harvey." It was just so funny. That's
it just happened to be in Paris and they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody I've been seeing on Instagram has been, for some reason, going to Italy and not Paris. But I've been on TikTok looking at all the travel tips. If you guys have any places that we should go in Paris, but also in maybe Italy, because I think that's where we'll probably venture off to after Paris and then come back. Really, I'd like to stay there for 6 months and just travel the entire continent, but I really want to be home for Halloween because I want to do a family costume. So
I'm actually really excited about Parker being, I'm not going to reveal.
No reveal right now. But yeah, I'm really excited about her Halloween costume too. And then her birthday is like literally 2 weeks after we come back. So
oh gosh.
In my brain, like the whole calendar is fast forwarding by like all these things that are about to happen. Like I feel like the end of the year just happens so fast.
Wow.
I know.
It's about to be 2023.
I'm about to have a 2-year-old.
I have no kids.
Good. Keep it that way.
Yeah. My dogs are my kids. Everyone. Now that I'm single, all my family's like, are you thinking about kids? And I'm like, oh, you guys are saying that now?
They never said to you when you had a boyfriend?
No.
What the fuck? What's that about?
I'm like, because I'm like, maybe they're thinking like, hey, like, so if you're planning on having kids, like maybe you should get with someone. Like, I don't know. My sister's boyfriend's trying to hook me up with her brother, but
do you like him? Do you think he's cute?
Yeah, and he's like successful and stuff, but like I don't think I'm ready. I'm like,
be in a relationship.
I don't think I'm in that mindset yet. Like,
yeah.
Like he's older. He's like 34 or something. Like he wants kids. He wants to get married, and I'm just like right now. I'm like, I can't even think of that at all, like whatsoever. Like I can't even think of having.
Maybe we'll
a child.
Find you a cute French man,
and then I'll just move away.
No, don't move away. I need you in my
Bye.
life. No. So my sister got pregnant after me and has 2 kids now. So she's 2 under 2.
She's younger than
She's a year younger than me, like 13 months. My mom had us super close together. My cousin and his girlfriend, they had a baby after me. Their daughter is like 6 months younger than Parker. They're pregnant again. So now my whole family is looking at me like, okay, you got pregnant first, but all these bitches are beating you. When are you going to have another kid? They're all kind of like, do you think you'll have another one? And I'm like, God, give my uterus a break. I had a C-section. I like shouldn't have repetitive, like I shouldn't like have pregnancies in fast order. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like I shouldn't get pregnant again fast. Basically.
I think that when I do have a kid, I think I do want a C-section.
No, you don't.
Like I just want to be drugged out and then wake up like super like just drugged out with a baby in my arms.
Yesterday I was doing an upper body workout. Okay. I had my dumbbells. Hold on. I had my dumbbells over my head like this. And I have to go like this, right?
Uh-huh.
The way that my C-section scar was tugging in pain from me stretching my body like that is not worth it. Like it's like a big surgery and you almost never feel the same afterwards.
I'm just so scared by like all of you guys' talks on here of like scary
to give birth.
Like birth stories, and then I'm just like I don't know.
I mean, I just try to think about other mammals and how like when they're gonna give birth they just like go into a corner and they just like do their thing and they feel all the motions and like they listen to their body, and how we kind of just like ignore all those signals and don't listen to them. And
yeah, we're just like, shoot me up with this, with this, I'm ready.
But like we're animals and we're made to give birth to babies. So I mean, obviously complications can arise which would require interventions,
which are very common, I feel like, and it's not spoken about.
I mean, I don't know, if you look into the home birth community and like their messaging around it and how like the hospital sort of like encourages you to have interventions, like you're a lot less likely to have an intervention if you do a home birth, because at home they're not really like rushing you as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that would be nice to like in your tub.
Yeah, I mean it looks really pretty even though it is also still painful, but I think when you hear when like there's a lot of women who gave birth in the hospital and didn't like it and then went to give birth at home, and vice versa, I'm sure. But it's all about what you want. Some people feel safer in the hospital. I like didn't feel safe in the hospital because I just didn't mentally prepare for it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you've heard a lot of horror stories on this podcast so far.
I would say like out of the 5 moms, at least 3 or 4 of them like have said some tragic.
Hopefully we'll have on a couple women I know who have had
my baby came right out. He
beautiful,
was smiling.
Yeah.
He looked just like me.
Like I know a few women who've had like really beautiful home birth stories, and maybe that would be like make you feel a little balanced about it. I mean, yeah. It's hard, it's painful, but
and then it's like very common in my family to have like long births,
long labors.
Like yeah, like over 25 hours.
That's just normal. Yeah.
See? This is why my sister has scheduled all of her babies
with C-sections.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. My uterus hurts just thinking about doing another one. Also, I was really allergic to the epidural. So, like, what the hell am I going to do?
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me you were itchy.
So, what am I going to do?
Oh, anyway, that's the worst when you're itchy.
Itching, but like crackhead itching. Like, I shouldn't even say that. That's mean, right?
No.
Like a crackhead? I don't know. People are so crazy.
Like, I know. I was talking about food last episode, and they're like, that's so fucked up that you're talking about food Lena. Because like, it's triggering for Lena. And I'm like,
I can talk about food. It's not a problem for me.
Most of the time when we're off camera, we're talking about food.
That was stupid. But anyways, okay, guys. Today we are talking about a topic that I didn't know a lot about before we started researching it. We're talking about the love languages. A lot of people know about the 5 love languages. I guess on Hinge, you can like put what your 5 love languages score is. I didn't know until I was reading about it today.
I don't think that exists anymore.
Oh, the article I read was from 2018, so you might be right. But I think maybe it was part of a big study where they were trying to figure out what people's love languages are. But there are basically 5 love languages. The first one's quality time, receiving gifts, words of affirmation, physical touch, and acts of service. There's a quiz where you can see where you rank in terms of percentage for your priorities of what you prefer, basically from your partner. Monica and I took the quiz last night.
Crazy.
Yeah, we had the exact same priorities basically in how we want to be loved and how we prefer to love others basically. What was the order?
Okay, so our order was first was acts of service.
I had 30% for acts of service. I really care about that.
I had more. I had 40%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's like top for me.
That is pretty crazy because I actually read an article today and it was saying that that wasn't a big priority for a lot of people.
It's not common for women.
It's not common for
like for the top. But then we'll go, it's like that it's part of the Hinge study that that you read about. So then both basically in our order, it was acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts, words of affirmation, and physical touch.
We both rank super low on physical touch.
Yeah. You're 7%. I'm 3%.
Jeez. Okay. But I want to ask you, do you think that early on in your relationship with your ex, do you think that you would have ranked higher on physical touch?
No.
I
think so. Before I even did this quiz, I like sat down and I was like, I had been familiar with the 5 love languages. I just have never actually I don't think I've ever actually taken the quiz. Okay. I think I've kind of just like learned about each one and been like, okay, this is the order I think it is for me. And so I wrote it before and I put physical touch as 4 rather than last. And then I thought you
prioritized it a lot more than the quiz told you prioritized it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then I took the quiz and I was like, you know what? And it's 3%. And I'm like, it probably makes sense. And I was also thinking about you too. And I was like, it is your last one. And do you think that has a lot to do, or like there's a correlation that like obviously you don't find love through physical like intimacy? Do you feel like there's a correlation with that and like why, like you're maybe able to like, have your partner be with other people? Like because like your love doesn't come from that.
So I think in the beginning of our relationship, I would have probably ranked a lot high. Like I think it would have been split, like not split, but I think it would have been reversed. Like I think physical touch and words of affirmation would have been my top 2. Then I think it would have been receiving gifts. Then I think it would be quality time. But I think in the beginning of a relationship, at least for me, like that's how I understand that you're like really into me when I'm still getting to know you. Like sort of like these PDA things, like you're willing to hold hands with me in public. It's like all different ways that you're confirming that you love me. It's like how I'm getting signals from you that I know you're into me. Mm-hmm. But now that I know that Adam is into me and that he loves me, I don't need the physical touch and the words of affirmation. It's more important to me that he's like, hey, I know you're busy. Let me do that for you. Yeah. But I think that's why I was wondering if this was fixed, but I guess it's not fixed because it changes throughout your relationship and throughout your life. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like it's weird how it just changes over the course of your relationship. But you don't think it did for you?
I don't think it did. And it's like the way also the questions were like proposed. It was kind of like, would you rather a hug or someone, do a chore for you? And I'm like, do a chore for me. Like
it's a chore.
Like don't chore.
Did you say chore?
Here we go again. Like I'd rather you do that than come and just give me a hug. Like But I am not a touchy person. And I was
thinking about that. I was like, have I ever hugged Monica? Maybe the first time I met you.
I don't think we've ever hugged.
I love hugs. Like, and I'm a big hugger. Like when I do hug you, like I will squish you, but I guess I don't know. I should hug more.
I'm
like,
just not. Yeah. Like, and I feel like maybe it's because, and also like they were saying that like the way your parents loved you or didn't love you creates your love languages. And so I was thinking, I'm like, my family, they swear up and down that we were so affectionate when we were like raised. No, we weren't. Like my mom, like, yes, like we'd give like her a kiss on the cheek, but like we were not affectionate. Like, I don't think we were affectionate. Like it wasn't normal for me to like cuddle with like my brother, or cuddle with my sister, or cuddle with my mom. And so maybe I think that's why physical touch maybe is so low for me, because like I just never found like love through that. I'm not really sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I really feel like you get your love language from your parents, because if your love languages can change, then how can that be also true?
I don't know. Maybe it's part of like the nature versus nurture.
What do you mean?
Like if you were like coddled when you were young and stuff, like a lot of the times, like
cuddled or coddled?
Coddled.
Okay.
I feel like
protected, just like.
But I feel like coddled and cuddled, like both of them. Like I feel like if like an only child, I feel like they're very much like, at least the only childs I know, like who were very coddled when they were younger. Like I feel like their love language is most of the time like physical touch, or like it's not act of service. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like,
I feel like you're making this up. Why would it not be physical touch?
I don't know. Because maybe this is wrong with what was on the internet. But it could be also the way they didn't love you.
I don't know. I don't even, when I think about these things, I don't think about my parents at all. Because I feel like I got all of these in some amount from my parents. Like I don't necessarily feel like one overtook the other. Like I feel like my parents did almost all of them equally to me. But yeah. I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
I don't know.
Or do you feel like you got less physical touch? So basically,
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like we can make an argument for like, oh, the way that your parents loved you, or the way that your parents didn't love you. But
no, I feel like it's not really even about that. Like,
I think maybe as a child, because like part of his book is like 5 love languages for children. Like they do it for children, for teenagers, for singles, for people about like in relationships, and then people in marriages. And so like at each step, your love language is different. So maybe from the start, maybe that's what it is. Like that you like your first love language is as like a first child and stuff.
I mean, think about how you are in high school and you're going to get your first boyfriend. Don't you feel like the way that you know that you're loved is if he decides to hold your hand, because that's what you saw in the movies and stuff?
Yeah, maybe when definitely.
So I feel like if you're younger, you probably put that way higher up. And I feel like more men, not to stereotype, they do rank physical touch higher than most women would in general. Like I personally don't need physical touch anymore. And I don't know. Sometimes I attribute it to Parker, because I just get so much physical love from her. But yeah, I feel like when I was younger, I would totally be like, oh my God, he held my hand. He loves me.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? No. You're totally right.
But it would be interesting to have taken this in the beginning of my relationship and then now, although I kind of already have an idea of how it would have changed. But I feel like it's good for everybody to do this test, because then you could really see like what you need from your partner and communicate that to them and learn more about them. Like I feel like I'm looking at this list and I probably don't do enough of certain things on here for Adam, like especially with the physical touch thing. Like I feel like after Parker was born, I just went in for less hugs. Like I just kind of forgot about that, even though Adam probably still looks for that. And I feel like with words of affirmation, if you're with somebody for a long time, it's like, are you going to compliment them on the same thing over and over again? Even if you should, like you should always say, I appreciate you, even if they're doing something they've done for you for the 1,000th time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So my ex, his love language was at words of affirmation. And I always like, I feel like I always saw it as like oh, like, you're doing great, like, you know, like little words like that. And then when I was doing like the research for this, and it's like it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Like it's like basically they're just saying like words are everything to this person. Like whether like even if you were like to make a comment or like a joke about that person, like, and it could be like a slight dig and you're like, oh, it's not that deep. They say like, no, like it is that deep for that person because like that is how they're receiving the love.
They value words a lot more.
so-
Yeah. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Like if you, I really just thought about it in the positive and not about everything.
Exactly.
Else
Like
you
I
say.
appreciate you. And so when I was doing the research and shit, I was like, damn, like that was his number one. And I was always like, why do I, like, I thought in my head, like, why do I always have to be like, you're doing good? Like, why do I need to be saying that? Like,
Yeah,
you should be doing good. Like, you should be doing these things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. But like, because these people like literally feel love through another person's words, it's like maybe you should take a little bit more effort and just like use your words in a little bit. And it could be more like, it was also saying like just leaving them like a really nice note, or like in the middle of the day just sending like a text, like and it doesn't have to be like you're doing great. It could just be like maybe how you're feeling about them. Like, or
it's kind of hard to rank these because when I think about the note thing or the text thing, I'm like, oh, that really means a lot to me. Like I would love to have like one special text or one special post-it note or whatever, but I feel like the acts of service and the quality time just matters so much more.
Yeah, because when I'm thinking, if I'm young, like when I was like in high school, I wasn't like, my love language is act of service. What could they possibly do for me? Like, you
also have a lot less to do. Like I feel like
exactly,
for us, it makes sense that quality time and acts of service are high up because we both have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's what I like.
It's like you're taking it off of my plate, and I appreciate you for doing that. Like without me having to ask. That's like the big thing. It's like
that's the big thing.
I shouldn't have to ask. And that's the thing. If you do ask, then it's not part of like, it's not an act of service.
It also, I feel like, makes you feel like you have more of an equal partner. Like they're sharing the load with you. Like, you know, you're not on your own in a way.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
so that makes you feel more loved because you're like, okay, we're in this together.
No, yeah,
I can count on this person to help me when I need help.
And I feel like that's probably why I had a lot of problems with my ex. Was it's like I was always like his love languages were like words of affirmation and physical touch, and those are my lowest ones. Like to me,
so
words,
you don't know how to love like that.
Yeah, it's like to me, words don't mean anything. Like it's like show me that you love me.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, fuck, like maybe I should have been like maybe I should have stopped doing everything for him physically. Like I'm not gonna plan your stuff, and maybe
acts of service for him when he
because that's what I think that's the way I receive love.
Yeah,
and that's the way I'm like good at giving love.
So you sort of had mismatched love signals and mismatched
like love exactly languages. And I think and then too, like I would get upset like I do this for you and I do that for you, and like
I've been
like
there,
how
girl.
Don't you like hello, like hi, I'm here, like I'm doing all of this for you, and like you don't feel loved, like because I didn't give you a fucking hug, like, and then now I'm like, that's all they need, like literally, like they don't need me to make their appointments, they don't need me to like literally clean up after them, like give me a hug and that's it. And I'm like, but that it's still just, it's hard for me even to like think that is enough that I'm giving, like, oh, I gave you a hug, like
I know, because I'm kind of like you, where I'm like the same way. Like in the beginning of my relationship with Adam, I was like, I'm gonna take everything off your plate. You're a busy guy. You don't want to do this. Like I'm just gonna do it all for you. I'll make your appointments. I'll help you get your life in order. And that's how I like show love. And I wouldn't necessarily want him to do those things for me, but like an errand or something, you know?
Do you feel though if he tried to do some of the stuff for you that he may have not done, like he might not do it the right way?
That's like, why I wouldn't want him to do like everything, but it's like,
because that could be an issue too. Like I have particular ways of doing things, and like I don't want to have to show someone how to do it because I know I'll do it faster and I'll do it like my way. And so that was always like also like a.
But an act of service could be as simple as like you're packing, you're going on a trip, you're stressed, and you have to do laundry. That person is like, I'm gonna throw a load of laundry in for her.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not,
I'll help you fold the clothes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like some crazy thought out like the way to take everything off of your plate, because obviously people are particular about how they do things, but I don't know, I couldn't imagine how I would really incorporate that one more into my life. because I am kind of like that, where I'm like, let me just take over. I could do this faster. I could do this better. I know how I want it. So it's almost like we really, even though we don't want to ask for help, we really have to draw everything out. Like, this is how I want it done if you're going to do it, which makes it less loving and sexy.
Yeah. And then I feel like that also, I don't know if you've ever read this book, probably not. But Why Men Love Bitches.
I don't think I've read it, okay, but I know about it.
Right when I got single, I read that book, and it was just saying how like you should let the like guy in your life, you should let him just do something like for you, even if they do it completely wrong. Like the second at any point like they do something for you like without you asking, and you try to correct them, or like the example they used in the book was like you asked someone to hang up a mirror for you, but they did it and it was all correct, but you want the mirror you wanted the mirror higher than it was, like it was saying in the book. Like, don't tell them that. Just tell them,
give
like,
them the win. Let them
thank you so much. Like
won.
That was awesome. Like, kind of stroke their ego, because if you sit there and you're like, actually I wanted it a little bit higher, they're never going to do anything for you again. Yes, they'll do it, but they're never going to want to do it because they felt like that first time wasn't enough.
That's a
really
good
wasn't
point.
Good enough.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to
accept them where they are so that they can continue to try to do more.
Yeah, exactly. They'll want to do more if you show appreciation through like just like, thank you so much for doing that. Like,
yeah,
even if it's like horrible, like it's part of also like an ego stroking thing. Like,
yeah, but it's also like, if, like, for example, if Parker paints me something, but she also painted like a little bit on the wall, obviously I'm still gonna be like, thank you for my painting, good job, and then like just go clean the wall after, because I don't want to make her feel bad. And I guess I shouldn't compare men to children, but sometimes the comparison just feels so right. Okay, let's see Adam's love languages, because I made him take the quiz yesterday too.
Okay, let me pull them up.
By the way, I think you guys should all take this, and I wish that I had taken this in the beginning of all of my relationships so I could have been better informed about my partner. I don't think this is like the number one secret to every relationship, but I feel like it kind of pushes you in the right direction. Okay. So this is Adam's results, which I honestly, he told me when he took the quiz, they'll basically present two different situations to you. And so it'll be like, would you prefer someone gives you a hug, or would you prefer someone tells you that you look beautiful today? And they present a lot of options against the option of getting a gift. And so Adam told me he basically kept picking the option that wasn't a gift. Therefore, he has 0% love language of receiving gifts. But the first one is 30% quality time, which is not far off from what I got for quality time. I think mine was like 20%.
Yours was 30, because mine was 40.
But quality time is not my top one. It's acts of service.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Acts of service was 30 for you.
Okay, yeah. So acts of service was my first one, but my second one was quality time, which is Adam's first one. Which I feel like at this point you must have to define what quality time is with your partner, because personally, I don't feel like Adam and I have as much quality time, even though that's what he says is his number one love language. For him, words of affirmation rank really high, which I need to remind myself of, because I feel like Adam already gets tons of words of affirmation from all around him every single day. He gets it from all his fans in the comments, people he works with, I'm sure, like people who he interviews who are excited to meet him. So I feel like even though I do compliment him, I probably complimented him a lot more in the beginning of my relationship, but now I've been seeing him be really successful for 6 years in a row. And I guess in a way, you forget that you should still compliment it, because you're like, yeah, you've been doing this for a while now,
Yeah, but remember, it could go further than just like a compliment.
Yeah,
just like any words. But then it's like you could just leave him what if you like leave a little note in his car, like instead of a text message, or like I feel like everything he gets is through the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I used to do that a lot. Like, oh, you have a big interview today. Like, I hope you kill it, or you're going to do such a good job. But now it's like he doesn't get nervous to do his interviews anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I know I'm going to.
Yeah, it's just like so normal every day for him. So I don't think about catering to that part of him to show him that I love him. So I really need to like work on that more, because it's really, really high up there. He has acts of service after that, which I mean, it ranks high, which is good because I feel like I do so many acts of service for him, but I don't think he thinks about them as acts of service at this point. I think he's just like, yeah, this is what Lena does for me. This is her job now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I book, or I have Monica now book appointments or whatever it is. So in the beginning, maybe he would have seen, like, I think he did see them as acts of service in the beginning of a relationship. Like, oh, that's really nice of you. Like, you don't have to do that. But now it's kind of like, that's your job. Why can you do this for me again? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Acts of service.
Do you feel like your boyfriend started to just expect those things from you?
Yeah.
We put a lot more
I feel
on
like
our
he
plate.
was so, and then because I did it once, I felt like it was my job.
Yeah. No, I became like Adam's secretary without needing to become his secretary.
I'm like, oh, okay, your bills. Okay, let's just put it all on my bill pay. And then when I go through my bills, I'll put my bills in. And then I have a little section and it's your bills. I'll tell you how much you owe. I'll transfer it from your account. And boom, on the 1st, our bills are paid. On the 15th, our bills are paid.
Yeah.
Like, and then now we're broke up. He's like, do I call? Like, do I call on the stub? Like, and I'm like, no, you have e-bills. He's like, wait, what? Like,
it's almost like we do them a disservice because they can't do anything by themselves.
It is a disservice.
And it's like, okay, so if you do all these acts of service for so long and then to them it becomes like, well, that's your job, that's what you're supposed to do, then you sort of feel like less appreciated over time. So I feel like that's when the love language of affirmation would come into place for us, because if Adam tells me like, I really appreciate that you did this for me this week, then I'm going to be like, oh, wow, I was like noticed and appreciated for this. I would be super down to keep doing it, you know? Like, yeah. Do you not need that?
I don't need that at all. That's like my last, I feel like,
but it doesn't piss you off if you do all this stuff for them and they don't show you appreciation?
No, because I think for me, like, you show your appreciation through actions. Like, to me, words don't mean like anything to me. Like,
so if he like took you on a date and was like, you do so much for me, I really appreciate you, that would mean more? Or like, how would it work for you?
Well, the action of him taking me on it, did I plan the date? Because if I planned the date and then you were like, thank you do so much for me, I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I just planned this whole fucking date.
But
like,
if he planned it and he took the time out, then you would feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Loved.
He wouldn't even have to say anything sweet to me. Like,
because you would
if
know.
you planned a date, like, that is already a whole lot. Like, I don't think I think maybe he's planned like when we were together, like maybe like one date. Like, and I'm even finding now, like, guys will be like, oh, I want to take you out. And so I'm like, just wait. Like, because in my other book, Why Men Love Bitches, like, that is my handbook. I always refer to that now. I'm like, okay, like, I just don't reply. So tell me what we're doing. Yeah. And they literally are like, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like, I'm not doing this. Like, yeah, I have planned dates. I've planned trips. I've done all of this. Like, no, you want to take me out? What are we doing? Because I didn't tell you that I want to take you out.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Like, if you're going to, because yeah, it doesn't feel as good when you make the plans for what you're gonna do. But there was like a time where I was like, Adam, plan a date for us, which like is annoying that I have to say it, but then he did plan a date for us, and then I went on Yelp and looked at the restaurant and I didn't like it.
That's the fucking problem too.
So then I changed the restaurant last minute and I was like, we're going here instead, but it's like right down the street. Is that okay? And he didn't care. He wasn't offended, but I wouldn't like for it to play out in that way. I would want for him to be like, oh, I haven't taken out Lena for a while. We should do something special. She's tired. She works hard. We deserve some time together. And then he finds like whatever. They open some cool new pizza spot and we just fucking go. Like, that would mean so much to me instead of me like planning everything.
I feel like that goes back to the whole thing of like, he tried and you turned him down. They always say like the first time that they try and you turn them down, that's it. Yeah. Like, that is the most you're ever going to get. So it's like, you have to just be happy with what they're giving.
I should have eaten at that restaurant, even though the pictures look bad on Yelp.
Went and then
but you know what the problem is that like the reason that we get the bad restaurant is because Adam does everything last minute. And so we'll have the reservation at 10 p.m. at dinner because he didn't think about it until the last second. And so there's nothing left. There's no tables left. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the last
But you have to just be like, the point is he thought about it. We just have to accept the
I don't want to eat dinner at 10 o'clock.
We have to accept the minimum. Why do we have to accept the minimum? What is this?
If I have a boy, I'm going to teach him a lot of things.
No, yeah. And so I took like a little quote out of like the book. Well, I found it online actually. It's like, if you don't love people in the way they want to be loved, they're still going to feel extremely unloved. And
yes.
I feel like that fucking speaks volumes, because as much as like my ex like was doing, I don't want to say doing anything because it wasn't active service, but like praising me and like wanting to like always be around me and touch me, it still just never felt like enough. Because I'm like, I'm literally babying you, I'm doing all of this stuff for you, like, and then it would turn back to me being like, I did this for you, I did that for you.
But I mean, don't you think that we do the acts of service because they also make us feel good?
I feel like yes and no. I would do it just because I feel like it was taking it off of our plate, not just his plate.
Mm-hmm.
But would he be doing the same thing for me? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, we would then be waiting last minute to do things. So it's like, at what point, like, maybe you just have to like slow down. I feel like we're so eager to like want to take things off our partner's plate.
Yeah,
so
you see
fast.
them stressed out. You're like, I want to be helpful. I don't like seeing you stressed out. And that's sort of how it begins, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think it'd be important to know your partner's love languages so early, because it's like, I see them stressed out. Like, if acts of service is not their love language, maybe I wouldn't say, let me take things off your plate. Maybe, you know, then I'd use words of affirmation, or if they liked quality time, or just like whatever their top one was, then that's less of like a stressor. Yeah. Right? I wouldn't just automatically jump to what I know. And
but it just feels like a perfect fix. Like, you have a problem, I know how to fix it really fast. Let me just do it for you. And I think even though it's not the way they necessarily receive love, they do appreciate it in the beginning before they expect it, before it becomes just part of your job as a girlfriend.
But do you think we do it more because it makes us feel good?
I mean, I feel like I've always had like a motherly nature in me.
Same.
And I've always been very responsible and organized in terms of being able to like keep track of my life. And, you know, here was Adam, someone who was much older than me, who didn't have his shit together at all. Even though he had like a successful business, he was like, I don't know if I have car insurance, I don't know if I have health insurance, I don't know how to do this. And so I was kind of just like, I can sign up for you, I can do this. Like, I don't know, I guess I wanted to feel like needed, and that's how I found a way to feel needed. Mm-hmm. And he did appreciate, he was like, you're so nice to me. And it was like in contrast to maybe people who were less nice to him. I don't know,
but he was also probably very content with not knowing any of these things too.
Yeah, I think eventually it would have caught up to him more, and he probably would have been more stressed out about it. But yeah, it's not like it wasn't a priority for him to like figure it out. But I was kind of like, well, that's very important. Like, let me step in, you know?
I'm like, you don't have health insurance.
I mean, he thought he had health insurance, and then he found out he didn't have health insurance. So
yeah,
he was like,
and then you have to pay taxes if you don't have health insurance, all of this.
Yeah, there's just so many things that you have to do as an adult that suck. But Monica and I do them for everybody.
Bless us. Honestly,
we're the best. Don't be his mom. I mean, I feel like we're being their mom.
Yeah, that was part of my book. Like, I think every girl who is dating and stuff right now, read Why Men Love Bitches. Yes, there's honestly very toxic things in there.
What's the most toxic thing in there? What's your big criticism?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you my favorite thing, and it's still very hard for me because I always.
What's your criticism though? Is it part of your favorite thing? Is it the same?
Maybe, because I can't. Like, I'm trying it. I'm trying so hard to like follow this rule. In the book, it says never drive to a guy. Never, ever, ever drive to a guy. Like, never, unless if you're in a relationship, or
when you're like still trying to become boyfriend girlfriend,
mm-hmm. Or if he lives very far, then like, of course, like, you know, out of convenience, you know, you can meet halfway. But like, do not ever drive to a guy.
But do you think a guy is really calculating like, oh, she drove to me, and making a big deal about it in their head?
I don't know, but in the book, it's basically just telling me like, don't drive to a guy. Like,
but why?
They should order you an Uber, or they should pick you up, because they should be like, I don't know why it says
they should be chasing you that hard that they can't have you be picked.
How nice would it be though if a guy was like, this is what we're doing, we're meeting at this time, send me your address so I can get you a car. I would literally be like,
he's the one.
Like, what the fuck? Like,
I mean, I guess.
Yes, I will be there.
I guess that would be nice and stuff, but I feel like it shouldn't be the only rule, because I feel like a guy like that, like, yeah, maybe they send you a car and stuff, but like, what else? Like, I feel like they might have other really bad flaws that stand out that, you know, you're ignoring.
Yeah. Well, I also think is like, and I forgot who put this in my head. I think it might have been Becca. Like,
I
when
hate
was
dating rules. I think they're so silly.
Okay, this one really stuck with me. Becca told me the second I got single, she said, and I would like tell her about my dates, or I'd be like, oh, this was a red flag, this was a red flag, like right away. She told me, this is when you're first dating someone, this is the best you're gonna get. Like, you should be like, when you're first meeting someone, like,
the best version.
This is the best version. They're putting on for you. Exactly. So if the best version is not blowing you away, imagine how they're going to be if you decided to move forward with them. Like, this is the best. And, you know, you're already not happy. You know, maybe you're getting in like, you're just not, you're seeing like shit that you shouldn't see in the first couple of dates. Like,
I feel like I agree and I disagree.
Okay.
Because I feel like in the beginning, maybe Adam like said sweeter things to me to try to woo me or whatever, or like flirted with me a little more. So I got like more flirting from him, more playfulness. But he didn't want to let on how much he liked me because he wasn't sure how much I liked him or how loyal I would be or like where it was going. So he wasn't giving me his whole heart because he didn't know if he could trust me with it. And then as our relationship developed, it became like stronger and better because it was like he couldn't show all his cards at once because like, what if I broke his heart?
I get that too. I feel like,
but in terms of like maybe their dating behavior, I guess, like if they're not taking you out on the date in the beginning, they're not going to take you out on a date in the middle of your relationship.
Exactly. It's like if you're expecting dates, but then they're just inviting you to their apartment, like to hang out, like, yeah, that's cool, but then you get so comfortable and complacent doing that, and then they're like, look, this is working, so like, why should I do more? Why am I gonna do more? And I think that is kind of like the little phase that I'm in right now, to where I'm just like over it. Like, there was the guy I was seeing, the guy I told you about, and I feel like we've just gotten so comfortable hanging out like at his place. Yes, his place is nice or whatever, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to go out. Like, I want to. For me, it's also like, I want you to want to be seen out with me. Like, I don't know. There's something about that. That's exciting. God, that's so bad. I'm the opposite.
You are?
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like because I was in a relationship for so long, like, I don't want to go out. Like, I don't want to be seen with you. Like, but maybe it's different because obviously, like, you guys have like some sort of social status. I'm like, it's more I don't want someone to see me on a date with someone and then next week see me on a date with someone else.
But like, it's not like there's like a town square where we're all going on dates in. Like, there's just like a huge massive city where you can literally go on a date in a new place every single night for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like LA is so small though.
It is big and it is small because yes, obviously you run into the same people a lot. But I think for me, it's like, I want to know that you're serious about dating and therefore you're willing to take me out in public and really be on the dating scene. And it doesn't matter if you're a public or a private person. Mm-hmm. It's more like, are you hiding me away in your apartment because you also have another girlfriend out there somewhere? Or
very fucking true.
You know?
I think, you know what? I think that the reason I didn't want to go out with him is because he lives in the same little city. I won't say what city, but it's where I went to go to the cat lady.
Okay.
There. It's very small there. There's like one little tiny mall. He lives down the street from my ex.
Oh, wow. Well, that's convenient.
And so when we first started hanging out, he wanted to go like to Vaughn's or something. Uh-huh. And I literally was like in the car sweating. Like, how do I tell him that I'm not going to walk into Vaughn's with him right now? That you've been to this
Vaughn's a million times with somebody else?
Yes. Like, and that Vaughn's has a Starbucks in it. And my ex's brother is the manager at the Starbucks.
Oh, so it's like,
and he works the night shift for you. So I'm like in the car, like, how the fuck am I gonna tell this guy that I'm not getting out of the car? Like, he can go in the store and get like whatever he wants to get. Like, he wanted to get like lemonade or something.
What ended up happening?
He got the vibe right away, and he was like, if you want, you can stay in here. And I would have
been like, I have to make a phone call. Sorry.
I was like, okay, but it's because I was very open, like at the beginning, like because he wanted to go to a specific place, like for one of our first dates, and I was like, look, like I can't go there. Like I can't go there because my really good guy friend works the front door. Like, I cannot go there and be seen. Like,
you should have not picked somebody who lives in the same block, basically, as your ex.
I didn't know. I didn't know
it's like,
he
okay,
lived there.
let's say you go to the restaurant and your friend is working the front desk. Are you so embarrassed of being seen as dating because you still don't want to hurt your ex, even though you guys are already broken up?
I think that's probably what it is. But also, maybe in my head, like, I feel like everyone just automatically associates me with him, like my ex.
Okay.
So I feel like it's like, if I'm out with someone else, like, I don't want people to think that, like, that is who I am with. Like, I feel like it's
instead of just a casual date.
Instead of just like, we're just going out, it's super casual. But it might just be me just overthinking it.
You're in your head about it because you've been in this relationship for so long. And
I have never dated. Yeah. I have literally never dated in my entire life.
Okay, yeah. Don't get in a relationship. Be single for a while and date.
Yeah. And so
shop around.
I think because I started off us like that, now he's like that, to where like now we're just like at his place, you know? And so I'm just like, are you gonna take me out? Like, are you gonna do anything?
But that was part of your fault because you were like, I don't want to go out in this area. So you want to go out somewhere else.
Exactly. I think it's all my fault, to be honest, like with him and I, because even from the very beginning, I told him like, I don't want a relationship. Like, I don't want a relationship. I don't want anything serious. Like, this is like where I'm at right now. Like, I feel like, so if you want more, like, you're barking up the wrong tree. And so now when I expect just a little bit more, he's like, do you want more? Like, do you actually, like, I'm willing to give you more, but you keep telling me you don't want a relationship.
Think about if you start hanging out with a guy and you thought he was pretty cute and you were a little into him and he was like, by the way, I don't want a relationship. Like, how would that make you feel about hanging out with him?
I know.
Because I feel like even though you don't want to get stuck in a relationship right now, you shouldn't lay any expectations out in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, because now you're like, now I want you to take me out on a date and we're stuck at your apartment. And I told you, I feel like some people think it's okay to give guys mixed signals, but it's not. I think that you should, like, if you're going to say something, you should stick to it or just don't say anything.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I should have not fucking said that, because now I feel like he's like totally turned off. And then it's like, I'm like, okay, then like, that's fine with me, because like, I don't know. He said, do you want more? And I said, it's not that I want more. It's that I've been getting less. Ebony, like, oh my God, just me and Ebony are just funny when we're texting. But anyways, yeah, so my love life is at 0 right now.
Okay, but did you start to like him more?
I think so, but I think I'm more, I don't know. That's the thing, is like, I don't know.
So if this guy wanted to show you how to be loved in your love language and he doesn't even barely know you guys just met, like, how could he possibly do acts of service? Right? Like, I guess picking you up would be an act of service.
Yeah.
That would make you feel like, okay, you took that off my plate.
So that's why I struggle with the whole driving. Like, he lives 5 minutes away from me.
Oh.
And I am driving to his apartment.
How did you manage to meet someone in LA who lives 5 minutes away from you?
I've known him for years.
Oh, okay. I thought you like met him on a dating app or something.
No. We've known each other for years. We just like actually started hanging out because like he'd always be like, hello, like, are you single? And I'm like, no. Like, I just never had a wondering eye at all.
That could really be a true act of service, because although it's stupid, it's 5 minutes away, you could drive to his house. If he comes to pick you up, which is kind of silly because then he has to take you home.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, then exactly.
I feel like we're just confusing everyone. Like, so what should we do? What's right?
I
really don't know. I haven't dated in 6 years, but Monica's brand new to it.
I have no fucking clue. I'm like,
but I never demanded anything.
Every time I drive to his house, I'm like, my book would be so upset with me right now.
Fuck your book.
But everyone should read Why Men Love Bitches, honestly.
I do think that like some things are, I guess, important to do in the beginning if you're dating, like not giving too much, not doing too much. But I don't know.
What is too much when you're like first dating?
Like, if you first start seeing someone, don't start doing everything for them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, like, what's the point of that? Don't invest that much. But I don't think that you should necessarily, like, we live in a big city, so I don't think necessarily demanding they pick you up is a real thing. I think sending a car maybe is more practical. Yeah. But it just feels very, like, old school. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like there are other things they could do outside of that might show more.
Yeah, because then I'm thinking, like, and so I made him, so it was actually like I hope he never fucking listens to this, but basically yesterday morning I was like doing research and like just listening to different podcasts and stuff about love languages, and he FaceTimed me while I was doing it. And so like he has his phone right here.
So
and
you guys
I'm
are
like,
still seeing each other.
It's so stupid. It's honestly so stupid because like I feel like I don't know if this is a lot or not, but like we see each other for like an hour or two a week.
Okay.
Like, is that?
No, I feel like if you're not really like serious with each other, then no, that's like a
yeah. And so like he'll like randomly FaceTime me. I'm not a FaceTime person, so half the time I don't answer, but I just happened to answer. The lighting was a little good. And so I was doing it and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I told him like what I was doing. And he's like, "Oh my God, like you're feeding into the hype, like, oh, love languages, blah, 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 blah." And I'm just like, "What are yours?" And then he was like, what did he say? He was like, if you don't know my love languages by now, then I don't know what to say. I feel like I've put them out there. And I think we actually like one time we had like a conversation about it, like just like joking around and stuff. And I was like, and then it made me remember that like part of one of the podcasts I was reading or listening to, it was saying like you have to constantly remind your partner what your love languages are. Like it's not a bad thing to keep like reminding them what it was. But I just thought, and I was like, can I send you a link and will you do it? And he's like, yeah, sure.
It's a really good conversation starter. I like it.
I love it.
I don't think it's like the end all be all to relationships. I don't think it's going to solve every single problem in your relationship, but I think it's like a good jumping point to start from. Even if you've been in a long relationship, like you can look at this and be like, let's check in with ourselves. But I mean, what was his love language? Do you feel like you could have nailed it?
So this is like at 10 a.m. and he literally 10 p.m. last night. I was like, I'm not responding to him until he takes this fucking quiz and sends me his results.
Okay.
So he FaceTimed me during the day. I didn't answer. I'm like, the last message is me sending the link. So then I get like a text message at like 9 p.m. and it's his percentages. And when we first met, he was like, my top love language is physical touch. Like, and I'm like, every fucking guy says that. Every guy says that.
You've had sex with him?
Yeah. Every guy has said like, oh, my top language is like physical touch. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. He takes it. His top is acts of service.
You guys have the same one?
Yeah, his top is acts of service.
So I wanted to know that, are you more compatible with people who have the same love language as you?
I would hope so, because that means that you're just, like they say, the higher the love language, the easier it is for you to give
and receive. Like,
yeah. So if you're better at giving it. So if that person receives it really well, then I feel like that could possibly work.
Got a couple with high acts of service are just constantly doing things for each other, which does sound to me like an ideal relationship.
Oh my God. I feel like that would be heaven.
Yeah. I feel like it's like a true partnership.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, you want to do that? Well, I'm going to do this. Like, I feel like it'd almost be like a battle, like, but in a very good way. Like, and I feel like it wouldn't lead to the arguments of like, I do this for you, I do that for you. Yeah. Or maybe it would. And then you guys both just have really fucking long lists of what you do for each other.
No, but it's not about keeping score unless that person is not doing anything for you. Then it really feels like you need to be like, hey, look at all the stuff I do for you. I need something from you.
Yeah. So I like, after that conversation with him, I was like, honestly, everyone should just date someone that has emotional intelligence and who would want to actually know what their love languages are.
Yeah. I feel like any person who is like opposed to taking this test, I don't know. I just like, why not receive like a little bit of help, especially if it's in the form of a pretty fun quiz. I do think it's like kind of redundant at times because you seem like you're answering the same question over again. But there's 5 different topics and they're trying to pose them against each other. So then you will have some questions that are similar. But I mean, I feel like I learned about myself in terms of the fact that I just changed throughout my relationship with someone. And when I was younger, I prioritized physical touch and words of affirmation because that's what had kind of been sold to me as an idea of like, this is what love means. Someone telling you you're pretty and someone kissing you on the forehead. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now I'm like, well, it's a lot more than that to me.
Now that you're saying that, I'm thinking maybe that's why physical touch has never been a big thing for me, because my mom growing up, she always in our ear, like, they're going to tell you, like, just be careful. They're going to tell you you're so pretty, you're so beautiful, your body is so nice. And then they're going to want to put their penis in you and they're not going to want to wear a condom. She still tells me that to this fucking day. Like,
so you were just scared of physical touch because your mom told you were gonna get pregnant?
I'm like, maybe I just like was always like, so then when they're like, oh, you're so pretty and they want to touch me, I'm like, this is what my mom warned me about, so fuck off.
I guess maybe. That's so funny. I don't think my mom...
She still says this. She literally will tell me,
but she wants you to have a baby.
She told me and Ebony, she was like, you know, you need to be wearing condoms. Like, when I was having a throat infection, she convinced me that I need to go to urgent care and I was like, no, mom, I probably just have strep. She's like, tell them to take their blood. You probably have mono because you're kissing people. Like, and I'm like,
Monica's mom is a nurse. So
I was like, I've been kissing people. Like, what? Like, and so I'm there, like, in the urgent care, like, can you guys please take my blood because my mom thinks I have mono. And then they're like, no, you have strep. And I'm like, can you just in case, like, can I please just have like some type of test for mono so I could give it to my mom?
I've never had mono. Have you had mono?
No, I've never had mono.
Monica has know when infected wisdom teeth, by the way. She didn't even have strep. So everyone was wrong in this conversation.
But no, it was giving me strep.
Oh, okay. It was giving me wisdom teeth were giving you strep, so you did have strep. But I remember so I haven't had UTIs since high school, but when I did have UTIs, my mom would have to be the one to take me to the doctor, and she would be like, this is because you're having sex. She would blame everything on me having sex and then would be so pissed about it.
I used to get UTIs when I was in elementary school.
From what?
Holding my pee.
Oh.
I was always like so nervous in elementary school to raise my hand. Like, there was like a point where they were allowed to say no. I think like once I got to middle school, it was like not socially acceptable to say no for the teacher. And so I would hold my pee and I would always get UTIs. And it's actually such a funny story. My mom would always have to take me to the doctor because I would get like a fever, everything.
Oh, you got them bad.
It would burn when I pee. I've never gotten a UTI over the age of 15. But I would get them constantly. And there was one time, it's going to sound so fucking stupid, but they had to do an ultrasound on me. And in my head, because they had to check your kidneys. Like, because
did you think you were pregnant?
In my head, I remember we got chicken fingers from Burger King. She's like, okay, like we're going to go to the doctor. They're going to do something. They put the thing on my stomach, the gel, and then they start fucking with the ultrasound. And I'm like 9 and I've only seen ultrasounds on movies and shows where people are pregnant, and I'm literally there like, am I Mother Teresa? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are they doing this? But I'm the type to just stay quiet, and then I go home like on my fucking prepaid internet and I'm like, ultrasound, like 9-year-old.
I know, I didn't know that like ultrasounds were used for a lot of different things, but when I had like I guess it was like a cyst in my uterus, and they use the ultrasound for that too, but they put it inside of me to find it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if I probably would have thought the same thing at 9 years old, than putting gel on my belly.
I was freaking out. I literally remember like putting my stomach in and out. Like, I was just like no.
But did you not want to ask your mom if you were pregnant because you were scared she was think you have sex?
Yeah, like if I would have been like, Mom, am I pregnant? She would have been like, why do you think you're pregnant? How do you get pregnant? Why do you think you're pregnant?
Yeah, at 9 I did not. I knew that sex was a thing, but I had no idea how it worked. Like, I didn't know what had to physically take place for it to happen.
I didn't know that it was insertion.
Yeah, I
literally thought it was just like dry humping.
Yes, me too. I was like, okay, I know that it's some act that men and women do in bed. Like, maybe they just lay together and through like osmosis they get pregnant.
Yes, and then I'm trying to remember, and even when they taught you about puberty and like condoms and stuff, like it was always the outside. Like, they only showed the outside. They never were like, when you have sex, you are sticking like a penis inside. Like, I had no idea. I think like it was like late night HBO, and I saw, and I was just like, oh, that's sex. Like, it goes.
Doesn't it seem so gross when you first learn about it?
And you like, oh my God, like, and I just remember being like, wow, like that was like life changing. So then like after I'd see like some softcore like, you know, shows where they're just like on each other, I'm like, they're not having sex. That's not sex.
You just like knew, you're like, I figured it out. I know what it is now.
I know what sex is, and that's not it. That's so not it. I could watch this.
Yeah, I think that moment when you realize like what's actually happening, you're like, whoa, that's kind of weird and gross.
Yeah, it's
because, you know, when you have a crush on a boy when you're like in elementary school, you're just thinking about like, I want to hold their hand and I don't want to kiss them. You're not thinking about all that weird gross stuff that comes later. And then when you find out about it, you're like, ew.
I remember being like, ew. And then I was like, and they have hair.
Well, you have
like,
hair.
Yeah. I was like, maybe the first one I saw was just very hairy.
Okay. As it should be. People have hair down there. That's like realistic.
And I was just like, wait, what? Like, and I think I saw it like before I even had hair. So I was just like, whoa. Like, what the fuck?
I got hair really early, and I wish I didn't learn to hate my hair. I had a lot of hair, like a full crazy bush that would come out to like my thighs, like,
oh my god,
like out to my thighs, like maybe 3 or 4 inches.
Your mom wouldn't be like, hey, you know, you gotta like trim.
We would shave and wax and all that kind of stuff, and I'm glad I took care of like the bikini line area, but I ended up doing like laser and stuff, and I just like wish I kept my hair. I feel like it's like a big part of me that I just got rid of, and I want it back so bad, and I like wish I didn't like feed into the hairless trend.
Did you do full laser? Or just like bikini line?
No, I did full laser, which I think for like the lip area is fine because I hate shaving that area, but I wish that for like the triangle like part of like a landing strip area, I wish like no, but more than a landing strip. I would want like the full triangle, the full area that like. Also, I really want it because I wish it would cover my C-section scar. But like, if I could reverse laser, I would. But
how many sessions did you do?
Probably like 8. I did my underarms, I did my vagina, and I did my like knee down.
And it doesn't grow back for you?
It grows back really spotty, but the thing is, like, I had really thick hair, so I'd have to shave all the time, and it would burn, and I would get a lot of ingrowns. So, like, even just being able to thin out my hair a lot made a huge difference. Because if I don't shave for like 3 weeks, my legs will be hairy, and if you stare at it, you'll see it, but it's not going to be like this huge announcement. Like, look at my legs; they're so hairy, you know. Yeah. Versus before, I just had like really. I have dark hair. I have thick hair.
When I was young, my arms were so hairy.
Just your arms.
So hairy. So fucking hairy. Like, it was like dark blonde, but so hairy. Like, I would go backwards and they would stand up. And I remember like,
did you wax them or?
No, I remember the first time I shaved, it was like in elementary school. And my mom, like, I had razor burns all over my body. She picked me up from school and she was like, what the fuck? And I had like razor burns like all the way up my I shaved everywhere.
Shaved everything?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, like this is. I remember my mom
trying to stop me from shaving all the parts of my body because she knew it would grow back worse, and I didn't listen to her. Like,
oh, me neither.
The upper thighs, you don't need to shave them. They generally don't grow like that thick. The upper arm, like all these areas that I feel like I don't shave my arms now, but I remember I did in middle school, or like my mom would dye them blonde and then eventually she let me shave them. I'm kind of just like, you should have just let it go. It was fine.
I know. I was like, I feel like we're just so eager. Oh yeah, because they're fucking hairy as fuck. But you know what's crazy though is that I used to grow blonde hair on my arms. I shaved and now it's like dark hair.
Oh well, that worked out for you.
I want to laser my whole entire body. I mean, I have laser Brazilian. And so I do like that. I tried it started growing back a lot. And then I tried doing like the landing strip. And like, because after you do laser, everything just grows back so patchy. I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, shoot, like it was like, I'd be like, oh, can you just like keep the landing strip? And she was like trying to like draw it with like the white pencil.
I know.
And I was like, just do the whole thing at this point.
I tried to do the landing strip, but when you look at it, it's like a stupid landing strip. It's not like a real one. And also it's because I had one, and then when they went to do the C-section, they shaved me in the hospital. So it grew back.
You lose your shape.
And also it's like, I can't be shaving that area once I've lasered it because it's not growing back at the same speed and ability that it used to when I was in my younger years and they're very hairy. But we've gone on a tangent about hairs and sex and all kinds of stuff. I don't know if we had any more stuff to talk about for love languages. I was curious about the similarities and differences between men and women on this. And I feel like there's got to be a lot between younger and older people, like we discussed, my theories on physical touch and words of affirmation. But there was, so I thought that Hinge still had it on their profile, but I guess they don't, but they were using it as part of a study. And the study came out in 2018. It says the most common love language for both men and women is quality time, which I feel like makes sense, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I would think so. But it's crazy because it's saying that it's like chosen so frequently that it's more than twice as common
as words of affirmation
as the second one.
I mean, imagine if you like mostly got words of affirmation and then very like way less quality time. Like I feel like that balance in a relationship just wouldn't work. You're not really around each other. You don't have good connections. But then this person just telling you you're awesome all the time. That doesn't really sound like a good
I guess if
relation.
you love words of affirmation, then that's all you need. Like, I don't know.
I feel like that's
words.
first.
I mean, words of affirmation are really low for me, so I feel like I can't. I don't know how that was second for men and women. That was second. Actually,
I can see how words of affirmation would be like, because
Yeah.
even for me, I feel like even though it's not as highly ranked as acts of service and quality time, it matters for me, but it matters for me more in the words I appreciate you and less in the words you look so beautiful today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which I feel like
I appreciate your actions because
Yeah.
you're doing so much.
I appreciate all that you do. Like, I don't know. I feel like those are the kinds of words of affirmation I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I'm proud of you or whatever. Like, they're not always as, I don't know, surface level as I guess you would imagine. And that was my one thing with gifts. I feel like gifts deter people like from choosing that as their love language because it seems so like, oh, you just want me to buy you presents. It seems so like superficial.
It does,
but it's not really like that. Because for me, it's more like, you know, I like late night snacks. You know, my favorite late night snack is like a Snickers bar. Or is that more of an act of service?
No. So like that was, I feel
That's
like
still
that
a
is the
gift.
misconception of gifts is like people are like, oh, you're so bougie or like you're just superficial.
Because I don't even want like a fancy gift. Like I would want just someone's like, oh, I thought about you on the drive home from work. I stopped and I got you flowers, or I stopped and I got you like even like a candy bar. Like I know you like to eat chocolate late at night. It's like one of your cravings. I got this for you. Like that is a gift to me. Because it's telling me that you're thinking about me throughout the day, not that you fucking ordered me a Fendi bag. Like I don't care.
Yeah, and that was part of like in the podcast I was listening to. It's like they're more. It's like I listened gifts.
Yes,
like
exactly.
I listened to you, and this is why I got that. Like it's not. Everyone has that misconception. It's like, oh, it's expensive, or like, oh, well, her love language is giving gifts, so like I can't provide that for her. So like, you know, or she's a gold digger, or she's bougie.
Yeah,
or
no. And I feel like that one probably gets a bad rap.
Case.
It's not the case, yeah, because. It just doesn't matter to me. It's more like it was something thoughtful. I think that's the word we're looking for. It's like something thoughtful that the person, like it makes them smile, or like it could have really helped them or something, that kind of gift. But I mean, for some people, their love language probably is like a Rolex or whatever. Yeah, but I don't think that's like for everyone who thinks that that's like their top thing. But I don't think, was anyone highly ranked on gifts? I think probably most men think women rank highly on gifts, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I think I ranked third on that. And
I did too. Yeah, we got the same.
What I thought was kind of crazy about that though is that like I never got that.
You never got gifts growing up?
No. And like even in my last relationship, never. So it's crazy that I feel like it ranks so high.
You didn't get birthday gifts or Christmas gifts?
Yeah, but they weren't thoughtful.
Okay.
Like, and I think that is what like the difference is like they'd be like, oh, what are we going to buy Monica? Or she's so hard to buy gifts for because she like always gets us thoughtful gifts. And it's like, it's not that hard.
It's not a competition.
You just listen.
Too.
And like another thing too is like with my ex, like he'd be like, oh, like it's really hard. Like just tell me what you want and I'll buy it. And it's like, no, I don't want that. Like I wear the same fucking pants to sleep every single night. And this one has a hole like on the, buy me literally the pants that I love sleeping in, and I feel like another one, and that is so thoughtful to me. And then it's like, but I feel like I rank so high on it because I'm really good at doing it, but I never received it. So I feel like going into my next relationship, like I think I'm gonna, I don't want to sound superficial though, but like I feel like I'm gonna want that.
Well, people hear gifts, but really you're saying, I want to know that you know me well enough to know what would make me happy when the time comes for you to buy me a gift. And I don't know if you were like this, but you know, you get gifts for Christmas and for birthday. I want gifts when it's not expected.
Exactly.
You know, I want a gift because you love me and you knew that I would like this thing, or you went on a trip and you wanted to come back with something for me.
No, and it's I feel like I was really good I feel like I have to stop talking about my previous relationship.
But I mean,
or maybe I don't. Yeah.
No, like what else are you going to talk about? This is like your guideline for your relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I feel like I was really good at it. Like, for instance, like he only wore a certain pair of underwear, and they literally only sold it at Macy's and at TJ Maxx. Like, those were the only places they freaking sold these specific like Ralph Lauren underwear. And so like I would like be at the grocery store, and right next door is a TJ Maxx, and I'm like, I'm gonna just see if they have them, because they hardly ever have them in like Ross and stuff like that. And I don't want to go to the mall, and I'm here, I'm like, let me just go. And then he comes home and like, you know, there's like fresh pair of underwear for the week, like, you know. And so I never received that back. So I think that I really crave next that relationship. I want that. Yeah. I don't know how it feels, to be honest. Like
for someone to say, I thought of you. Like it was a couple months ago, it was like a month ago. Adam asked me if I wanted coffee, and then even though I reminded him, he forgot to bring it to me. Or like he brought me my coffee because he was like, what do you want from Starbucks? And I was like, I want a grande coffee. He didn't put creamer in it, because even after 6 years, he like doesn't know how I take my coffee. He's like, you should have told me exactly what you wanted. You wanted coffee with a little bit of half and half. But he knows how I drink coffee. Like he should know how I drink coffee. Even something small like that, where it's like, you're just telling me that you've listened to me and you know what I like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm good. Yeah, like
if you went to a restaurant, would you want a guy to like semi order for you? Like, oh, and Monica likes not like everything like in a controlling way, but like, oh, Monica loves this, I can get this for her. Or like if you're on the way home and he's ordering food, he can pretty much order you like what you would have wanted to eat.
Oh yeah, like that would if we were sitting down and say we're at an Italian restaurant. I love chicken parm, and if someone so we sat down and he was like, they have a chicken parm, I'm gonna order it for you, I'd be like, you know that I like chicken parm. Yeah. Order it. Like, please do that.
Just listen to us. That's all we're trying to say.
Just fucking listen. And you don't have to be rich. You don't have to like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, get me a Snickers ice cream bar when it's 8 p.m. and I'm high as fuck. Okay.
Exactly. No, seriously. Or like, I don't know. I love ice cream dates. Yeah, I guess the moral of the story is do this quiz and listen to what your partner says listen to what your partner says about the way in which they want to receive love, and love them in that way, and also explain to them how you want to receive love so that they can love you in the right way, so that you guys are not mixing signals, because I think we could all improve our relationships by using them.
And I feel like also it's important to say this goes further than relationships too, like friendships too.
Totally.
Yeah, I had everyone in my house. I had my 2 best friends take this last night. We are all so fucking different.
Oh, really?
Ebony's number 1 is words of affirmation. And she was having a really shitty day yesterday. And I feel like I always buy her like flowers, or I always buy her something. And I was like, no, like I'm going to write her like a little, like a note.
That's really
and
sweet.
Put it outside, because I was like, it was like 60% words of affirmation.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, like who would have known? Like I'm over here like, oh, let me buy you flowers, or let me help you do something. Do you think she got a lot of
praise growing up?
No, not at all.
So then in that case, it might be the opposite.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Like she just never got it, so she craves it.
Yeah.
And so that might round. We're going full circle here.
I know.
What your parents didn't give you?
I'm like, don't overpraise, but don't underpraise. Because as a parent, I'm always thinking about like, I don't want to overpraise Parker for doing something that I consider like necessary, or like I know she's beyond that ability already.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to praise her for like, I don't know, turning off the light, because I know she already knows how to turn the lights off.
But if that is her love language.
But what I mean is I want to praise her for things that are more challenging, so that she doesn't feel like I can just get the pat on my back, good job, for stuff that's like bare minimum easy. Like she's known how to turn lights on and off for like almost a year. You know what I mean?
So now she doesn't, you're like,
I mean, I don't have to say good job for it, because I think that could also create like a kid who just won't do anything unless they get praised, and that's not good either.
Yeah, that's
you want to give love and praise, but not overdo it, because then they're gonna expect it for nothing.
Well, the second Parker can read, we're giving her the children book.
She can read
of love languages.
She at least knows like she knows what is happening on what pages in the Sesame Street book, so she remembers what we said to her when that page flipped. So she like, I'll turn the page and she's like, wee, like she knows what it says. There's actually what happens.
You should have your mom take the quiz.
Ooh, if I had to guess what my mom's was, probably my mom always wants more physical touch than I give her. I don't know if that would be like her highest ranking though. Words of affirmation, probably. I feel like she would want all of them from me because I'm her daughter.
Yeah,
but I don't know if she was.
But maybe you should take like just see.
I'll send it to her right now,
and to your sister too.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, because I have no idea how they rank.
Yeah, I feel like that would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that. That'd be really fun. Okay, this was an episode, I don't know what, because I don't know when it's coming out, of Touchy Subject, but I'm your host, Lena the Plug. This is Monica. I hope you guys have a good day on purpose, and write into the email if you guys have any ideas for what you want to see us do. Let us know where we should be going in Europe. We'll be making vlogs. I have a daily vlog on my TikTok, at Lena the Plug Vlogs, where I'll be sharing everything. I've honestly already been sharing everything about my life on there for the last 31 days. Anything else you want to add, Monica?
Please let us know who you want to see on the podcast.
Yes, that too.
And
okay. And the email is in the description.
A touchy subject podcast@gmail.com.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.